Chili, Rob, $20 from Amazon. Three of them. Yeah, go quickly. Yeah. Go for it, go for it. Don't let it pull down. Yeah, just somewhere there tells you like just 37 hours. When they're still members. I feel this pressure, yeah. Like it is sitting on its life forever. To 1 week every week doing this. Yeah. You'll get the hang of it in the hang time. Exactly. Oh man, thank you. Yeah, man. I know, we haven't worked together. What's that company that we work with? Queens. And that gentleman that we worked with went for a tour. He was telling me he's going for every operation. Yeah. Yeah, he got me before. Yeah. He's got the mic already? Does he have the mic already? I think so, right?
My mic button.
No, no, it's fine. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What was I gonna say? So that Rob, that little ATEM switcher with like 5 inputs or whatever. Well, it's like 4 units and a DNA. The monitor again, 4 HDMI inputs or whatever, and a 50
No way.
with a Pelican. We have a broadcast unit. I mean, look, these cameras. Yesterday when we were setting up, he was telling me all these numbers.
Really?
All you need, I mean, depending what camera you have, some already have HDMI out, these ones have, so you don't even need a little converter.
Right. Very easy. I like it.
I do some, but again, too flimsy and the little buttons. And
Yeah.
Just check your camera, like your camera capture.
Yeah.
I'll just stand up there if you want to just check it on me.
Thanks. Actually, set them up for me. I'll sit here.
Okay, I think that's good right there. Yeah, let me check Rob's. Can I check yours real quick?
Yeah.
On your camera, let me just check something. I have this on internal mic.
set up 5 minutes for you to do it.
For case start? Philadelphia Sports.
Are you ready to go in?
Yeah, I'm ready. Where can I put the stuff?
Wherever, mate.
Wherever?
Yeah, wherever. I'll just intro you and I'll come on. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good.
Good? Nice. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Who is here? Is everyone here from the US? Has anyone come from further afield than the US? Yes? Where have you come from? California. Nice. That's still in the US, isn't it? Has anyone come from not the US? Anyone flow over from, like, I don't know, I know Mike is in from Europe. Anyone else from? Yeah. Nice. Cool. Nice one. Well, thank you for coming. Welcome to VUX at Voice 22. Absolutely over the moon to be here and to be doing this. It's been a long time in the making. VUX World has existed for about nearly 5 years now, actually. We started out trying to explore conversational AI, trying to figure out where the value is, trying to figure out how it's kind of impacting people's lives, impacting businesses and things like that, and really trying to figure out how to implement it effectively. And we've been on a journey with the podcast. We've got something in the region of 250 podcast episodes, and many of you, it looks like, have been on that podcast, so thank you very much. And we started out looking at voice assistants, Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, stuff like that, and trying to figure out how is this kind of new technology changing the way we interact with the world around us. And, you know, this technology has been through a number of different kind of phases, hasn't it? You know, we had like the 90s and the early noughties of those terrible keyword-based IVR systems that just didn't work at all. Some of them still around now. I'm pretty sure my bank has one, and it didn't really take off, didn't really work. And then, like 2016, Facebook released the kind of Messenger API, and everyone sort of gravitated towards building chatbots, but built them terribly, and then like give chatbots a terrible name. And then Amazon Alexa came along, and I was like, this is just going to change everything. This is like what it's all been leading to, you know what I mean? And I dove deep into Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, things like that on the podcast. We were covering how to build skills, how to design voice experiences and all that kind of stuff for the whole of 2018 and a lot of 2019. But there was inherent challenges with all of those platforms. One, they were closed platforms, which meant that you could only do a certain amount with them. Two, they were gate-kept, essentially. So if you build a skill or what have you, there's no guarantee that anyone's actually ever going to use it. And it was just a sort of, all the potential was there, but it didn't really ever seem to kind of materialize. And then probably early 2020, late 2019, started looking a lot more into contact center and trying to see whether this technology could be used to kind of streamline customer experience, streamline business operations. And for me, this is where this technology, at least in the medium term, is going to have a huge impact, because it's got the perfect balance of the technology being ready, the customer behavior and adoption being there inherently, and also it's solving real world business problems. And you're going to hear about all of those things today. The lineup today is absolutely fantastic. For those of you that are familiar with VUX World, you'll know that, you know, we speak to a whole bunch of different companies and people about this technology, about this kind of this area. And literally, I have hand-selected the best companies that are operating in the contact center space for contact center automation. And every single one of them was grateful enough to come here, gracious enough rather, not grateful. I don't think they're going to be grateful, we'll see how it goes. But they were gracious enough to come here and share their stories. And so you're going to hear stories from Frank here, about how, I don't know if I can mention the name of the client, can I? I don't think so, no? So it's a large hotel chain, essentially. Hey?
Later on, though.
Later on, maybe off camera. A large hotel chain has been essentially transformed with conversational AI. We're going to hear from Poly AI about how they've worked with Golden Nugget Casinos to do a very similar thing. We've got Core AI, our presenting sponsor today, and Florida Blue, talking about how they're processing thousands of digital ID card applications every single day. And we're going to hear from a whole bunch of other companies. Vonage, we've got AI Sierra, we've got Human First. Literally, these are the companies that are making this market and making this industry. And so the first speaker is going to be, quick shout out to our sponsors as well, I mentioned Core AI and Vonage. for making this happen. And shout out to Pete and the ModeV team for inviting us, because it's been a ambition and dream to be able to do an in-person event like this. And so to get the opportunity is fantastic. So our first speaker, when I first met Frank, it was 2019, 2018, 18 I think. And so he's from Philadelphia. And I was really just kind of, I think you were the first company that I found that was specializing in contact center AI solutions. And I was just kind of like madly excited that this thing that I was thinking about, there was already companies doing it. And so I met Frank, and I was calling him the Fresh Prince of AI because of the Philadelphia connection. And the first time he ever appeared on VUX World, I actually did a rap, didn't I?
The bars were ridiculous.
It was. The bars I was dropping was intense. I basically redid the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme tune, and I kind of wrote a new rap for Frank. And so since then, me and Frank, we speak regularly. I've been following the Speakeasy journey. It's been absolutely remarkable. And a few weeks back, Speakeasy was acquired by Verint, and the plans for Speakeasy at Verint is going to be absolutely unreal. It's going to be game-changing. And so let's welcome Frank Schneider, AI evangelist, now at Verint. And also, because Frank has actually been on the VUX World podcast 4 times, usually if you've been on 3 times, for the hat trick, you get a hat. But you've been on 4 times, so it's a little bit delayed, and apologies for that, but there you are.
I get the golden sombrero.
You get the golden sombrero. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? So I'm going to come down from this because I feel weird up here. If you're filming, can I come down? Is that okay? No? All right, never mind, I'll stay up here. So thank you so much for coming. Yeah, my headshot is pre-pandemic, as you can tell. Nice to have you all here. Listen, I'm going to start with power to the practitioners. If you're a practitioner, if you're someone, no offense to the vendors, if you're someone in this space who has actually deployed a conversational AI solution, can I get a hand just to see what the room looks like? I hope there's a lot of practitioners. So I've been in this space since 2012-ish. And whether or not you worked with a company I consulted with, thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your vision. I am so grateful for what you all are trying to do in this market. Oftentimes in the conversational AI space, a vendor starts with apologies. It's such a weird market. It starts with, hey, this is why your chatbot sucks. This is why it failed. Come talk to us. Do you have a chatbot that it's like love it or list it? It's kind of like, we're going to come in and we're going to give you this wonderful renovation. And I'm sure it's fatiguing for some of you, but keep doing what you're doing. Keep driving the market. Keep holding us accountable. So what I'm going to do today is walk you through a use case for a large hospitality brand, a large hotel brand, to try to give you some value snacks, little snack bites of things that have worked for them. And I don't want to talk the whole time, so please interrupt me. It's kind of hard because I'm up here. I was going to walk around like Phil Donahue. I'm going to date myself or Oprah and try to get you to talk, but it doesn't seem like that's going to work. So let me get the clicker. So look, it's a new logo for us. Still getting used to that. Our mantra is simply AI support your customers will love. And that might sound fanciful, but if you're doing AI right, you're not containing and deflecting and just keeping them from a human. You're actually reducing friction in their journey, right? You're actually trying to get them to a solution. There's a lot of AI practices that are sort of the last 5 years, let's do templates. Let's do templates based on verticals as far as how to handle customers. And I'm proud to see the industry move towards templates around use case. Companies like VoiceFlow, love you guys. Love what you guys are doing. Let's design conversations. Let's get people to the right outcome, agnostic of channel. So it's about these memorable experiences, right, in hospitality, immediate fulfillment, anytime, in real time, anywhere, memorable personalized moments and ongoing value. It's not, in 2012, it was, can we build a system with 6,000 intents and 12,000 alternates that no matter what, we're going to surface an article or tell them to go to this page on the website. Whew. Like, no, let's not do that anymore. Let's try to get to quick wins. Let's try to collect some information and reduce experience. So where is this hospitality brand now? With their digital concierge, right, which is their fancy, what people used to call a chatbot. I just found this stat really interesting. So when people, this is where they are now, when people come to engage with the digital concierge, they've already used site. So let's pretend it's Hyatt. you're about to book a room here, and you come to interact with the IVA, the chatbot, the digital concierge, whatever you want to talk to it, you've already almost booked. Well, it's pretty intuitive to book a room. So obviously, if you've come to the digital concierge at that point, you've already tried to self-serve, okay? And glory me, you haven't called, right? So you haven't cost me $12 or whatever it's going to cost, and you want some resolution. Now, at the end of the day, customers want to do like 5 things. They want to buy something or enroll or sign up for something. They want to use it. They want to enjoy it, right? They want to pay for it. They actually do want to pay you. They want to report a problem and fix it. And then they want to cancel, or they want to end it, or they want to use it. And that's pretty much everything. And no matter what vertical, it's a definition of that. So here, someone's trying to book or modify or enjoy your reservation. And the key to the success for this hotel brand is not just the conversational interface, but it's having access to every API imaginable and actually opening it up to say, hey, when you came to us, really what you wanted was a cot. And it's not intuitive to ask for a rollaway bed. And that has to be conversational, right? In that little widget of what you're clicking down and selecting, a lot of times that's not a room preference. So you need to say, hey, I've booked at the Holiday Inn next week, but I want to have a rollaway bed. How do I get that? So the snack bites of current value that they're seeing right now, before I go back to square one, is that automated reservations in this digital concierge, before I get to the voice, doubled. So they're booking rooms with the conversational AI. Why is conversational AI booking when they're on the hotel booking page? Seems counterintuitive. Well, it's because there's friction elements or confusion or questions, things that maybe would have escalated to live chat. But when the conversational AI is a rich experience and designed around that journey of booking, then you're actually able to automate those. We're doing things like adding past stay to billing issues flows. So let's talk about your past stay and what's wrong and why you have that billing issue. Credit card authorizations, hotel information, amenities, right? In the hospitality world, think about Orbitz, think about Travelocity. There's so much available in APIs related to what's at a property that if you open up those APIs with conversational AI, suddenly you can say, hey, do you have a pool? And is it near the elevator? Or is it outdoor? Is it heated? And do my kids need to bring a towel? And all of that can be offered up. New res tripled. Issues now deflecting. I hate to use the word deflect, but Wi-Fi issues deflecting at 15% is lovely. And it's funny, if you notice, we're not saying like 80% because we're actually trying to solve it. So, we could make it 80% if we wanted to. We just want to say, call the front desk, right? And it's over. But we're actually trying to solve the Wi-Fi issue. So where did they start when they got there? And this is a technical graph that's very important to adhere to. Just listen to your customers and reduce friction instead of relying on what you know. And I would say, besides talking to your customers, talk to your contact center agents. So the way they began, and it's coming up kind of small, is what we call a listening phase. So again, not pre-building with thousands or hundreds of intents, but getting out in front of the customers with your conversational AI solution and tuning based on what you're seeing happening, whether it's in a voice channel or in a digital channel. So all the practitioners, you know what your top 10 intent hits are already. You know what those 5 categories, you know what the 20 or so issues, you need to get better at doing them. Like, we're not going to insult your intelligence, but what we're going to do is say, while we're listening, which things can we solve and where can we head? So this hotel brand deployed with not a lot of pre-built intents and just some conversation designs to get people to the right channels based on topics. And then as we're escalating to these different channels, uncovering the opportunities to improve things. The first 2 opportunities they found were, 1, no one should speak to a human to get a copy of their invoice, because that's actually not good for the guest or for the brand. So automating that, you can guess, was probably easy. It may be something that IVRs have been doing in the past, but what's different is being able to understand who you are, where you came from, did you first interact digitally, and being able to understand all the nuanced ways. I have a horrible Philadelphia accent, as you can tell, so I say things like water, and being able to sort of navigate and understand the different ways you might talk about that folio. Because folio, like from a knowledge management system, I never use the word folio unless I talk about this brand. So And then case notes was an example of, okay, now we found, hey, sometimes actually it's not as simple as sending them a copy of the folio. And the IVR, which wasn't that smart, you know, IVR never promised smart. It said interactive. It never said intelligent. So that's on us. And it is interactive, and it can maybe send you a folio request. But can it walk you down a path of disambiguation and conversation where it can get to, hey, this is actually a specific type of reservation where only the property can help you. Only the people at the front desk can help you. And in that case, the AI really needs a human. So let's collect all that data, let's reduce that friction, and then let's write into the CRM with transcription, hey, follow up on this front desk person when you get in tomorrow, because the water was supposed to be free, you gave them the amenity coupon because they were platinum whatever, and then you charged them $12 for the water. Like, please fix that. You love that I said water 4 times there. So with that voice-first approach, and later on, this brand and some other brands are going to speak about digital transformation having always secretly been about voice, because back when everyone was digitally transforming, it was, well, how does the ROI come? Well, now we have this magic web page and app. Now no one calls us, right? Everyone still called you. So it was something that needed to be meshed together, and now the technology can finally do it. Some recommendations that the brand would give everyone is conversational design. That's why I shout out to VoiceFlow again. I feel like I'm promoting you guys too much. Versus predefined decision tree path. Maintaining engagement across channels, right, is obvious. Now that's actually possible. Passing the context and conversation details to allow for continuation, and let people go back to the AI, right? Let people go back and forth and just give some messaging and some iconography to let them know. And here's a launch for the brand for the digital concierge. And you can see that it's me going through a booking, trying to find some information on my reservation, and then collecting some data about me, and then getting to the human and actually using that. Customers don't think about channels. You know, the customers don't think about omni-channel, multi-channel. They just think about getting stuff done. You can replace the S word. So an intuitive conversational AI approach allows this brand to, you're in Google Maps and you're trying to find a property. And if you're set up properly, you can chat right from there and then say, hey, I'm looking at this property. This property is in context with Google Maps. I haven't left Google Maps. Does this hotel have a pool? And you can see the digital concierge is presenting, yep, does have an outdoor pool, but it's unheated, which probably wouldn't be good right now. And then I want a room close to the pool. You know, there's no reason to try to force that if you can't handle it. Maybe we'll get there as we learn the customer behavior and we design these conversational experiences. But for right now, we've already reduced friction. We've maybe reduced handle time. Maybe we've allowed them to come back. We've inspired confidence in the channel. We've used the conversational AI. Now let's get it to an agent. When it comes over to an agent, it's, hey, it's Frank. He's a diamond or whatever kind of classification I have, and I want a room close to the pool. I'm taking too long already. So measure what matters. Accuracy was fun in 2012, and you know, if we're trying to pass the Turing test with AI, that's one thing. If you're a contact center executive trying to get some results, let's really focus on customer, you know, this brand customer experience and customer journey outcomes, rather than solving for every edge use case. Be aware and actually empower customers with a channel mix and preference. And what Verint, my new company or my new family would say is the engagement capacity gap. Like, we're all dealing with labor calculus, work from home, different limiting elements in our technology stack. And it's important that channel mix is not just a strategy for you all, but oftentimes it's a win-win with the customer to open up additional channels. Make sure that conversation subjects and topics are wide and vast and open and allow you to be agile and sort of react to customers and build new intents as opposed to shove them down a specific path. And it's fun to reduce friction for customer and agents, and there's some fun elements there. I'm going to stop there for a moment because I've spoken too long, and it's like 10 minutes left. And so I was going to do visual IVR next because visual IVR was a thing people were talking about in like 2008, and it was not that great then. And now it's like what's old is new again, because now that technology has improved so much, the intent of what visual IVR was supposed to be can actually be realized now. So I don't mind using the word. So if it seems like, wait, you know, we jumped in the DeLorean, we have, because now we actually have the stuff that we can use it. But let me stop there. Any questions or thoughts or anything from the room? And I'm sorry, I was going to do more conversation starters, but now the timer's freaking me out. So, what was your one? Last one? Question by show of hands. How many folks have conversational AI, not just in digital, but in voice? You have both spots. Okay, great. So for someone who has both, what's the number one piece of scar tissue that you got when you were trying to sort of bridge the gap? And where did you start first? Can anyone give something for the room? Because I think practitioners like to hear from practitioners. Where did you start in voice? I actually started in voice first, right? And then went digital. More often I find that people start in digital with digital chatbot and then go to voice. But does anyone have sort of something they'd like to share with the group in that? I'll give you a hat. Not the gold one, the black one, the black one. Kane's gonna, no? All right, it's not enough coffee? All right, cool. All right, so we'll keep going to visual IVR if no one's gonna share. Man, you guys are like, they're never gonna invite me back and it's all your fault. Go ahead, Mike.
I always like using AAA as an example.
Ah.
Try to combine multimodal, like when I called in, contact, your SMS message, but really, what are some of the challenges with this really large contact centers and adopting this technology? Typically back-end systems, slow to move.
Yeah.
I guess I want to get contact centers in our country.
Sure. Sure, I think it depends on where they dip their toe in the water as far as which beachhead or where you start, which is going to be the obstacle. So in my experience, if the initiative is driven by IT and it's more an exploratory, we just need AI across the board and is not driven by use cases, sometimes that's an obstacle because there's not a, here's the place where we start. If it's really fine-tuned, like, hey, we do alerts. Like, raise your hand if your brand sends SMS alerts. Anyone? A lot, right? How many of them are conversational? How many can I respond back to? Okay, so almost everyone's text messaging their customers, and usually that's a capacity issue, right? It's like we can't have every person getting a fraud alert from Chase texting us back and having a conversation. But that's where AI comes in. So sometimes it's a capacity issue, but if you start with a channel or a specific use case you're trying to drive, hey, we want to make these types of alerts engaging or interactive or conversational. That's usually when you can get buy-in. And then it's very important to be sort of, pilot, test, pivot, try again, even with your solution. And I don't mean like from a sales mechanism standpoint, I mean from a use case. Here's our hypothesis. The technology is letting us be agile. Here's what we're seeing in the contact center. Let's get it out the door. Let's get sample sizes and let's pivot based on that. All the while not forcing customers to have a kludgy, bad experience where it's been totally interrupted and they can't get to the human. Cool. So I'll give you some more good stuff. Hopefully it's good stuff. Visual IVR. So visual IVR now, now your digital and voice can actually know what the other one is doing. The right hand knows what the left is doing, which when visual IVR originally was launched was kind of like click to call, or hey, now we're going to take the menu that was press 1 for sales and we're going to make it a digital thing and then give you a phone number. And it's a much different experience now, to the point where, I always say contact us is now contact me. Reach out to me and give me exactly what I want based on where I've been. And oftentimes people will say things like conversational AI should be easy, fast, and intelligent. And whenever I hear the intelligent, it's really also respecting intelligence. It's no offense to the stuff we saw earlier today, but when I'm calling for a claim for fraud, whether or not the avatar kind of, makes me feel better, it's more important that I actually get to the solution, right? Respect my intelligence and get me quickly to the place I need to get to and reduce my friction. So for here, it's, again, most of these digital concierge engagements are coming from reservation in context, which I can't stress what a big deal that is. It's actually the customer was about to book and something got in their way, and conversational AI can help you understand what was it and reduce that friction and then let them book. But here it's a phone call, so okay, let's do it. Let's figure out who you are. Let's collect the information that we have, and you can see that the preferences are even set up. I will call you, you can call me, or I prefer to chat with someone right here. And either thing is going to be seamless and we're going to get you there. And people worry sometimes, well, how are we going to know it's them? Hey, how about you just give me the phone number real quick? Give me the phone number you'll be calling from, just like when you get those outage alerts from Comcast or what have you, and they say, can I call you back at this number? It's just in the opposite direction. And then when they come into the voice AI, now it's, hey, Michael, thanks for calling in. Are you still trying to book at the Holiday Inn Yuma or wherever this is? And how can we help you? And take it from there. But reducing friction while optimizing the human agents is what, again, that engagement capacity gap. We're all spread too thin. And if conversational AI is not, hey, let's just keep everyone from getting to us. It's let's help everyone get to us with the right amount of friction reduced based on those user journeys. And you can see the preference here for these customers. So when they come in that visual IVR, and this is a small sample size, but what is it, like 86% of the time you call me? And so that means, okay, we need to make that a richer experience too. So if we're calling them all day long, what other kind of solutions can we provide along the way? But we know where they want to be. And you can see 94% of the time, we recognize what the intent is, which is great. And then here is, if there's sort of a recognized caller but no next intent, what is, or the next intent, what are they typically calling about? And you can see those different topics. A heavy hitter is chase disambiguation, which is credit card stuff, but use points. And that's it. No longer the speakeasy logo. So I got 2 minutes left. Any questions about the use case presented, the goodness from IHG? IHG will be speaking on a panel with myself, Intuit. I'll do way less talking. I'm just going to throw questions at them. Walmart, if they wound up making it, I don't know if there's an event organizer here. Walmart, Intuit, IHG, so it's a good one later. And they all have different sort of a kaleidoscope of different conversational AI places that they've been. Yes?
With conversational AI, the cost savings component is a very clear ROI. Do you think there are any places where an automated chat experience actually outperforms an agent experience, not for cost savings, but for the experience customer?
I do actually, yeah. So and that's why I think this is one that has some, there's one where we have even average handle time. Yeah, this chart here is even beyond automation. How many seconds or minutes did we save based on the use case when we got it over to the live chat agent? Use cases that outperform in general, in hospitality, all of those modify reservation flows, you can just get done more quickly. And that's a really complex conversation flow when you think about all the ways you might want to modify a reservation or talk about it. But the performance on that works better from a CSAT score, from a whatever metric you want to look at with conversational AI compared to a human agent. It's nothing against the human, it's just there's a lot of time spent on trying to figure out if you get right to live chat. Hey, I want to modify a reservation. Now we got to find you, look you up, hang tight. The concurrency might be, well, what's concurrency in chat these days? Anybody knows it? 3? You guys usually doing 2 or 3? There's concurrency. We've all been in that feeling where the human goes away for a while and you're like, wait, are you still there? And really, I just want to change one of the dates in my modify res, and it's not letting me because I used reward points. Well, here, you can knock that out in, I don't know, 20 seconds, because it knows who you are, you're logged in, you're authenticated, it knows what your point balance is, it throws the points right back in when it's done because of the API. So that's a perfect example where that use case, the modify res in digital, is outperforming the human agent. And again, it's a matter of use case approach to deploying and managing and updating these systems. Good question. All right, so I got 30 seconds left. Thank you so much for coming. I hope there was some good snack bites here for you all. Appreciate you. And again, practitioners, don't give up. Keep pushing us. You're doing great work, and I appreciate you so much. Take care, everybody. Where's my golden hat?
Say again?
I need my golden hat.
You need your golden hat. Where's your golden hat? Where did you leave it, Frank? Golden hat. Here we go. There's a golden hat and there's a t-shirt as well. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
There you are. Thank you very much. Cheers. Let's just take a second. Thank you very much, Frank Schneider, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a second to appreciate the blue Dunkelos that Frank Schneider is wearing right now. Absolutely epic. Cool. So on with the show. We have. By the way, what I will say is that Frank Schneider and Speakeasy were one of the first companies that I come across that were able to do this listening pilot. And the whole idea, as Frank mentioned, is that you essentially begin listening to the conversation that's happening and understand the intent of the user in order to then route them to the right kind of place. And that's now a common practice, essentially. A lot of companies will start out that way. So next we have Brad Stein, who is the Global VP of Solutions Consulting at PolyAI, and Brian Jefferson, who's the Director of Contact Center Operations at Landry's, who are going to share a case study of how Landry's is using PolyAI. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. We're going to share a case study of how Landry's and Golden Nugget Casinos is using PolyAI to literally transform contact center operations. Ladies and gentlemen, please, round of applause for Brad and Brian. There's two mics here. There's one there, there's one there. There's a clip. Cool. Cheers. Cheers, Brian. Thank you. Cheers.
No? Yeah, there? Okay.
You turn it on.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right, so everybody, really nice to meet you. My name's Brad Stein. I'm a Global VP of Solutions Consulting at PolyAI. And here I've got Brian.
Yeah, Brian Jepson. I'm the Director of Contact Centers for Landry's, which includes Golden Nugget, Landry's Restaurants, Golden Nugget Hotels and Casinos. So,
cool. Yeah, so I thought there were some interesting questions before. So a big thing that we've been doing and playing around with is that automation isn't just about cost savings. You can actually drive a lot of revenue with it, because in a lot of situations what you tend to find is that people don't have the capacity to answer every single call. When we were first talking to Brian, I think you were missing what, 30 or 40% of your calls?
yeah, we after the pandemic, so pandemic happened. We're in the hospitality business. Everything shut down. All the casinos shut down. All the restaurants shut down for 3 months. And so when it came back, we just assumed everybody would come back to work and people would slowly want to go back to the restaurants or the casinos, and that wasn't the case. Everybody did. And I couldn't get all my people back, plus it was challenge hiring. So yeah, we were struggling with about 40% abandons.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and so we work a lot with hospitality companies where we see this across the board. And in a sales situation, sure, if you don't pick up the phone, you have an online channel. They might walk in. They've very rare in a hotel kind of case. They might go online. But there's always a certain percentage of callers that don't. And so what we actually took Golden Nugget on was kind of a journey where we started off very small. Like, conversational AI can be damn scary. A lot of people have got their fingers burnt with this type of tech in the past. Voice is a very, very, very hard channel. That's why you don't see it done, let's say, in the industry so commonly. But what we did is we started with a very small solution and then kind of rolled that out in kind of a continuous improvement cycle, which we kind of call it, into the point where we actually have a full reservation phone call, where we think that the person doesn't even know it's a virtual agent. It's pretty incredible. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges today, and then we're also going to talk through some examples. We have some live call recordings today, which will show you an example, and if you guys have any questions as we go along, feel free to jump in. Cool. Yeah, so how many people, by show of hands maybe, who's been to Gold Nugget? Yeah? Blackjack tables, yeah, roulette, craps. So I think everybody kind of knows what Gold Nugget is, but it's actually owned by Landry's. So maybe, Brian, if you just want to give it a little bit of a brief background about Landry's and what you do there.
As I mentioned, Landry's restaurants, we went on over 600 restaurants. Many of you may know them as the Morton's, the Mastro's, McCormick and Schmick's, the Landry's, Saltgrass Steakhouse, a lot of those restaurants, Bubba Gump's, Joe's Crab Shack, so a lot, places you've been to. But in addition to the Golden Nuggets, we have 5 Golden Nugget properties, and of course my owner also owns the Houston Rockets, so.
Lots of phone calls. Lots of phone calls coming in. So the problem is with the hospitality situations, you have a lot of issues, a lot of challenges within the market space. Some of the things that we often see is dramatic seasonal spikes. So I'm from the UK. Well, I don't sound like I'm from the UK, but I live there now. But every payday we get paid monthly instead of every 2 weeks. Last Friday of every month, people are going out partying, and so they have a heck of a lot of inbound phone calls for reservations. But it's very similar with casinos and events like that. You guys have seasonal offers. You have marketing events that go out. You want to talk maybe a little bit about that and how that drives contact?
Yeah. So Seasonality, especially summertime, is very busy for our casinos, several of our casinos that are in resort areas. As I mentioned, when the pandemic came back, we ended up taking an extra 40,000 calls from our Las Vegas property that they were handled on property that we were supposed to handle now. And I couldn't staff for them. So we saw spikes in volumes. I was abandoning. These were very simple type calls. These were, you know, I just need to can you transfer me to housekeeping? Can you transfer me to, you know, to the restaurant, to, you know, Joe Smith, whoever, or what, you know, what time is check-in? Is your pool open? Where is parking? Do you have pets? A lot of those types of questions were just very simple questions. But what it was doing is it was impacting our ability to answer the revenue-producing calls. People wanted to book reservations, and so, as I mentioned, I was abandoning 40% of those calls, and at that point, I went to my CFO and I calculated, hey, this is the potential revenue we're missing because we can't answer calls. So it was a horrible guest experience, waiting, you know, 40-plus minutes, abandoning 40% of our calls. It was tough.
Yeah, and I mean, and we see this across the industry. When we first started to speak with Brian, you know, it's impossible to hire people right now. You have to do 20 interviews to maybe get 3 good people, and then you have a high percentage chance of that they're going to churn in a little while as well. So one of the big things a virtual agent can do, imagine replicating your best agent on their best day 24/7, 365. They're never hungover, they're never sick, and they're kind of always there. And from a revenue generating perspective as well, if you think about reservations, especially in let's say a hotel casino, there's a lot of upsell opportunities. You can sell additional buffet tickets, you can sell pool passes, events to a particular, let's say, concert. And you know, if I'm having a bad day and I'm a live person in the contact center, you know, I just want to get off the phone. I don't want to start talking about and really getting somebody excited about maybe a special event like an anniversary. Do you want a pool room? Do you want the upgraded tower? And so the virtual agent can, over time, figure out what is the most likely somebody is in terms of going to upsell on a particular event. So when we have access to things like the back end, CRM, the LMS booking system, anything to do with the property site, we can actually see the history of what these people are doing and then recommend them the best offers for that particular situation to actually improve, let's say, cross-sell, upsell. And so one of the big things I thought was really interesting when we started talking with Brian is that he doesn't view the contact center as a cost center. He views it as an actual revenue generating center.
Right, and that's where it's more, my issue was all about customer experience. It wasn't necessarily about saving the money or anything else. I just wanted to answer the phone calls and give a better customer experience. And I wanted people to be able to interact with it too, right? I wanted I didn't want it to sound like a robot. I didn't want somebody, you know, we've all been in the hell of the back and forth. So I said, I want to make it easy for them to speak to an agent if they want to speak to an agent. But most people just want a simple task completed and done. I want to make it easy for people to do business with me. So the things that are simple, we were able to handle to allow us to focus on driving more revenue with our experienced agents.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was really the biggest requirement is like, it's got to sound human. It has to sound completely real, otherwise my customers are not going to interact with it, because voice AI gets a very, very bad rep within the industry. And so some of the things that we'll show you today will be pretty cool. But you know, again, going past, our tagline here at PolyAI is very much like superhuman customer experience, because the other piece about it, if you think about all the complexities within a hotel, restaurant, or any kind of hospitality situation, or even in a large business, you know, you hire somebody, you train them, they might not have the answers to hand. They might have to look it up. I mean, one of my favorite things I hear in the contact center is, hey, let me Google it for you. Well, the virtual agent is 100% proficient at everything that it does. It can pull out the best answer when you want it, 24/7, 365, and actually, in some cases, deliver a much better experience than a live person. Really a big piece about it as well is reducing the handle times. I know a lot of your agents, you know, spending a lot of time kind of chit-chatting.
Right, right. And, you know, we found a lot of things with the handle time, because a lot of our overall handle time, when we took the easy, simple calls away, right, that left some more complex. So actually, people think that, well, you're gonna save time on some of this. Actually, we saw our handle time go up, but it was spending more time on the revenue producing calls and less time on the others. So while it reduced the number of calls that we had to handle, it was. Well,
they're providing what they should be doing, better customer experience for the more complex issues.
Exactly.
And cool. So what this really did is, you know, Brian had a really good vision. When we first started talking, he's like, I just want to be able to talk to Alexa and be able to book a hotel room. I'm like, okay, we have to start small. We have to pick a particular solution and get it in. So one of the big things that we do is that we take off a very small percentage of calls. We'll pick one location or two or a certain segment of the business. We'll say, well, let's try it, and we'll build this thing very quickly for you. So I think we built this from the time when we kicked off the project. It was about 30 days. So one of the big things that we bring to the table is a pre-trained machine learning model, which has been pre-trained on billions of conversations. And so what it enabled us to do, because a big thing about Gold Nugget is that there was zero tag data, no real call recordings or anything like that we could tap into. We just sat down with some of your agents, and then we went and built the solution. But do you want to talk about your experience with that? I know you have a good story about this.
Yeah, so, as we evaluated a lot of different vendors and suppliers out there, I noticed that a lot of the recordings, a lot of the voice that I was getting was the same, right? And it sounded like a robot, and I didn't want it to sound like a robot. And so when they did a demo, and Polly did a demo for us, we did a demo for our Saltgrass Steakhouse to be able to take reservations, and not reservations, but to-go orders. And the demo was, they're in the UK, so they did a demo, and the girl was, it was a British voice, very, very beautiful. I love British voices, but it didn't really resonate with what I felt was a Texas Saltgrass Steakhouse customer, right? So I said, so hey, can you do something more Texan, And so next day they came back with the demo, and the first thing it answers is, howdy, thank you for calling Saltgrass Steakhouse. And I said, okay, these guys get it, right? And because that was my thing, is I wanted it to feel interactive and conversational and talk and not sound like a robot, that they were talking to the people. And I think you'll hear we have some examples.
Yeah, we got there in the end.
Yeah,
so we worked out a middle solution.
And so what I told them was, I said, look, here's 10 recordings of my best agent. I said, can you make it sound like this? And they got a voice that sounds exactly like my best agent. And so now all of my customers get that same experience. A lot of them don't even know they're talking to a voice assistant. So
and so some of the things that we actually did, day one after getting the solution, we'll show you what the call recordings sound like just after this. But we were able to fully automate 87% of calls. And the reason why I say fully automate, because that was actual resolution. We do a lot of analytics in the background to actually check to see, if we have repeat callers, are they calling back about the same intent? But people are asking simple questions, so give them a simple answer. And that's a big thing about what we do as well, is we focus very much on a strategy of engagement. And engagement means that you actually engage the caller in a real-life conversation. You let them ask the question how they want it, when they want it, and the phrases that they would like to use. You don't focus on containing it, forcing them down a force-fed conversation, and just basically hanging up on them in the end. That tends to what happens in the IVR. But the biggest thing, I think we just answered 100% of calls 24/7, 365. In this case, hospitality is about providing a very warm, welcoming experience. When you don't answer the phone calls, it's a very bad look for the business.
Right.
Cool. So we'll talk just about the timeline quickly, and then we'll get to the calls. I know we only have about 10 minutes left. So what we did, it's very much an iterative, staged type of deployment. So we let you guys kind of dip the toe in the conversational AI realm. We show you it working, and then we basically use our intent modeling engine to decide what call intents to go after next. So we can actually listen in a lot of calls, and we can see what customers are saying. We use that data to, number one, improve the virtual agent over a period of time. So we hit about 80% out of the box, and then moved that up to 87, and then we kind of hit like a wall in terms of going further. So then we start looking at different other types of, let's say, call types. So we looked at first partial reservations, because reservations is a highly complex call type. There's lots of different back office integrations, lots of questions people can ask about offers, comps, discounts. So what we wanted to do is make sure that we are fully prepared to go into that model first. So we actually said, okay, well, let's do partial reservations, where we just collect a couple of pieces of information from the customer, and we pass that off to the desk. So when the agent actually got the call, it's like, oh, Mr. Stein, so you want to come into the Gold Nugget Las Vegas for 2 people on Friday. You're going to bring a kid, and I think a tiger or something like that was one of the intents, but things like that. But now we're actually at a point over a couple of months, it wasn't without its integration pains, where we're actually doing full reservations. So I think with that in mind, what we'll actually do is kind of show you a couple of examples. And these are not applications that are hidden in some small part of the contact center where you say, oh yeah, look, we're doing this. People are dialing in, they're expecting to speak with a virtual agent. These are main numbers. So what I would actually encourage you guys, take a picture, dial these things, see if you can break it. That's one of my favorite things to say. This stuff actually does work. Throw out some real curveballs. Try to go for something, out of The Hangover. We've got a couple of Easter eggs in there too. But this is an example of what it sounds like.
Hi, thanks for calling Golden Nugget Las Vegas. What can I do for you today?
Hi, I'm coming for an event for, let's see, Career Compass, April 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I'm hoping to. What is the situation with, I have a Sprinter van that I'll probably stay in, and I want to know if you guys have that type of parking where I can stay in my van, kind of like a RV parking.
We have some open parking for oversized vehicles on Main and East Carson Avenue, behind our main self-park garage.
Simple answer to a complex intent. You know, a lot of systems would have picked up, hey, I want to come stay. I think I'm coming for this date, that date. It would have jumped into a typical reservation flow. A big thing about what we're able to do is extract the context of the caller and take those long rambling intents just as somebody would speak and provide a right response. And the guy just hung up afterwards. He didn't need any more information, but in some cases, you know, we can send an SMS with the location of the you know, like a Google Maps link. What we're looking to do next is actually integrate this in the app as well, so you can do push notifications, so you really get towards that kind of omni-channel type of strategy. I think I heard the other speaker, you know, a big common theme is like it's very important to start with voice, because voice is a very unique design. It's very hard to take a digital conversation on like a text or you know, digital or web chat, whatever it might be, and move that to voice. You can take voice and you can do whatever you want with it. So this is really scratching the surface, and that's kind of what we started off with. Now that we've done full reservations and we've done the integrations into everything, what we're looking to do next is really the omni-channel strategy. Maybe, right. Brian, you want to talk a little bit about
that? Obviously, what we've talked about is taking what we've built in voice, taking the voice to text now and putting it on our web chat, right? So it's just the exact same person. There's a lot of complexity with these reservations because we have offers. You have to find the player. You have to find what offer they have. We have to see if that offer is available in our reservation booking system. So there's a lot of different applications. And so to be able to go online and be able to do it online and book their stuff online, just self-service, again, make it easy, make it effortless for our customers to do business with us, the easiest possible. They don't want to have to talk to somebody. They just want a room. And so how's the easiest way to get a room?
Exactly. Well, here's the grand finale. This is full reservations. I think it's one of the best I've heard. When I first heard it, I was actually shocked. So we'll see what you guys think.
Golden Nugget Lake Charles, how can I help?
Volume on that.
Hi. Yes, I'd like to try and book a room. I have some comp nights. If y'all have one available on September 6th.
Sure. Let me take a few details to see what deals we have. Do you have a player's card with us?
Yes.
If you have it on you, could you type in your 14-digit card or account number into the phone keypad and press pound or read it out loud?
Okay, just 1 second. Let me get it. Give me 1 minute to get it. Okay, let's see.
Sure. Just let me know whenever you're ready.
So the virtual agent is now waiting for her to actually get the details.
I'm ready.
I'm going to have to collect your 14-digit card or account number to find the best offers for you. So if you could please just type that into the phone keypad or read it out loud.
31300211058.
Just give me 1 sec while I look that up.
Thank you.
Checking the back office.
What's your date of birth?
10/5/58.
Great. I can see your account here. And how many nights are you planning on staying for?
1.
So I think it also remembered.
Okay.
She said the date.
And how many people are coming?
2.
Alrighty. I'm just going to make a note of that now. Okay. I've got you down for 1 night from Tuesday, the 6th of September to Wednesday, the 7th of September for 2 people. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Let's take a look at what offers we have. Okay, I can see here that you have an offer for a free stay, either 1 or 2 consecutive nights. Is that okay?
Yes.
Great. Now just give me 1 sec and I'll have a look at what rooms we have available.
So activating the offer, now checking.
Okay, so for your comped room, we've got a Gold Tower Deluxe King with a balcony. For a one-night stay, that'll be completely free of charge. Should I go ahead with the booking?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
happy.
you.
Alrighty, just to confirm, you're checking into the Golden Nugget Lake Charles on Tuesday, the 6th of September, and checking out on Wednesday, the 7th of September. That's for one night. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, just to let you know, we have a 48-hour cancellation policy. If you cancel or change your reservation after 4 p.m. 2 days prior to check-in or don't show, you'll be charged a $100 fee. Are we still good to go ahead?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to have to collect your phone number so I can send you confirmation. Are you calling from a cell phone?
Yes.
Alrighty, let me just put your reservation under this number. Perfect. Before I book you in, we're going to have to take your credit card details through a secure line to hold the reservation. The name on the credit card has to match the name on your 24K account. Let me transfer you over now. If you could please stay on the line. Otherwise, your booking won't be confirmed. It'll just be a moment.
So PCI payment, and then the call comes
Okay, bear with me one sec, and I'll check that's gone through. Okay, that's confirmed. Thanks for calling, and see you soon. Bye.
Cool. So long call recording.
I don't think this lady knew at all she was talking to a virtual assistant, which was great. I just wanted a conversational, and I think that was the key to what we did here. But that was, I mean, the good part about it is I know every time it's going to quote the cancellation policy, so nobody can say I didn't get the cancellation policy. I know I can tell it exactly, make sure that every single time it does these things, in which I have a hard enough time with my regular agents to make sure that they cover everything. So we just train it one time, and I never have to train it again. Training costs in the call center business, I've been doing this for 35 years, and training costs are one of our biggest costs in the call centers. And not having to retrain that, if it takes a certain percentage of those calls, that's that many people I don't have to hire it again, right? And that's, call centers have 100% turnover a year, but it's not turning over the whole staff, it's turning over 25, 30% of your staff 3 or 4 times. So if we can resolve that piece, that dramatically reduces my training costs, and also just training at one time and not having to retrain. It's awesome.
And the real power about this as well, so the way that we focus our tuning is that we'll actually aggregate the places in the conversation where people fall out. So we focus our training on those particular points. And it's, yeah, surely sometimes it's machine learning issues, sometimes it's design, but sometimes it's process. And so a lot of our customers, what we actually turn around and say, the business process here is not right. Can we reduce the amount of speech that we have? Can we reduce the text? Do we have to say this? And so it's very much, let's say, a consultative approach to make sure that this thing gets fully optimized. So in the end, you make it frictionless for your customers and people to make reservations.
Right, we've done that. I mean, that's we're going from there into analytics, right? We have everything recorded. We start listening. What are my customers saying? How are they doing? Sentiment analysis on, are they happy with this process? So that's, it's been great. I mean, these guys have been, I will tell you, I know you just got a couple seconds here, but anything I've asked them to do, I've had a vision. I don't know the technical stuff. I don't know what an API is. I don't know all that SIP stuff.
You're learning.
But everything I ask them to do, my vision, this is what I want to do. Never once did they say, no, we don't do that or we can't do that. It was all about, let's figure out how to make it happen. And they've ran with us and made it happen. And so it's been awesome.
Cool. You've been a great customer. Well, if you guys are interested about hearing more, thanks for taking the time today. We're also on tomorrow, I believe. Is that tomorrow or later today? But yeah, stop by the booth and we can have a chat. Thanks, guys.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There is some VUX merch for you. Thank you so much. That was wicked. That was really good. That was fantastic. Thank you. Have you got the clicker somewhere?
Yeah, I was going to steal it.
Cool. Thank you. Cool. So we will be back in 1 hour from now. If you're digging these trainers and you want to win a pair of these trainers or similar, then you can do by going to vux.la/win or scan that QR code. And at 1 p.m. we'll be doing a little prize draw, and you can win, some caps, some t-shirts, and some trainers. So thank you very much. to Brian and Brad, and thank you for attending this morning, and we'll see you in an hour.